How's it going, people? Welcome back to AFTV. We're here for the full time to the Villarreal 2-1 loss in the Europa League semi-final. But before I get into it with James and Cecil, make sure you guys check out this video from Super 6's Hold the L, discussing the greatest Champions League moments.
Look, I mean, this is going to go down to the vote for sure, and I guess Paul and Akeem are going to get away with it, and I guess it will be about us. Nini.
Get away with it.
Yeah. It was always going to come down to us. Let's be serious. It was always coming down to me.
And
like we've cheated. Love that. Like we've cheated. You want us to pick a worse moment.
But look, in terms of holding the L, it's not always necessarily what the right answer is. It's also about, like, Akeem, you think yours is the best. Paul thinks his is the best. I've got to side with Paul. Nini, who do you think was the best Champions League win?
Between Akeem...
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to go for Liverpool. I think it's one of the iconic ones. You know what I mean?
So if anything, Akeem might need to hold the L.
Don't try and spin it.
I'm just opening the floor to debate.
Don't try and spin it.
So, James, Cecil, greatest Champions League moment? I know it's a bit of a weird question.
But I don't want to talk about Champions League.
Just lost a game, which we were hopeful to win to give us a chance of the Champions League, and here we are talking about, I don't know, Henry at the Bernabeu.
That was exactly the one that stuck in my mind, Henry at the Bernabeu. I'm going to say Cecil because he's rubbing his eyes, he's tired, he doesn't want to talk about Champions League right now.
No, bro.
He doesn't want to talk. Let's get into Europa League. Let's get into the 2-1. Let's start with Cecil. Cecil, how you feeling, man?
How am I feeling? Disappointed, man. I keep watching this team and I think, what is going on? You can't get yourself, the players can't get themselves up for a semi-final. We conceded in the first 5 minutes of the game. That started off bad, this false nine thing. I don't know what Arteta was thinking with that. I heard after the game people saying that, well, we got the away goal, so it's not too bad. I said, you guys watch the game. You couldn't make a 5-yard pass. Players are slipping all over the place. Like, we didn't get the basics right, Turks. That's what annoyed me the most. Like, there's no heart, there's no passion. Players are high-fiving each other. They're laughing when they're marking for corners, conceding goals and not having a reaction. They can't even stand on 2 feet. There were so many things wrong with this game. And if I'm honest, I'm also going to start looking at the manager now as well. I never thought I'd get to this point, but he has to answer for what we saw. Obviously, the players have some accountability, but I can't excuse this false nine. I know me and James had an 11 that we could have used with the players that were supposedly in contention, but we said, you know what? Imagine if they're not going to be able to be used, right? So we created an 11. Both of us. I did a 4-3-3. James did the standard 4-2-3-1, and it was a strong enough team to get the job done, but instead he wants to go with a false nine and Pepe we thought would be up front, but no, Smith Rowe. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
I don't think any of us know what's going on.
Tell us how you feel, really, Cecil.
I don't know. Listen, you make a good point with the fan base. A lot of the fan base saying, grabbing the away goal, and we did get away with it. Let's get that right. We did get away with it, and I guess from that perspective, I understand that. Listen, the away goal is great news, but it's always Arsenal that put us in that position where it's damage limitations and we take away what we can from the game. In reality,
for the performance we gave, 2-1's a great result. I'm not even joking, because we should have lost 5-0, 4-5-0. We were, not because they peppered us with chances, but because they always looked the more organised team, the better team, the ones who looked like they had a bit of drive about them, a bit of energy, who looked like they realised that this was a semi-final. And tactically, they were just balanced. They had 2 hard-working midfielders, they had proper wingers, they had 2 forwards, they had a back 4, they played out the back nicely. And, as you've alluded to, we got it wrong from the starting 11.
Yeah. I know, before we go into starting 11, obviously the fan base as well last night, I spoke to some of the fans as well as Robbie, they had, a lot of the issues were the 11. I want you guys to take a look at some of the clips from yesterday.
He went with this formation of playing a false number 9, when we've not played that all season.
I told you why. I told you why, didn't I? He watched Pep last night and thought, I'll have a bit of that. I'm convinced. It's ridiculous. We haven't played that all season and goes into the biggest game of his career, and does that. And I don't just blame him, Robbie. I don't just blame him. The people that he's got working alongside of him, ain't there one of them with a bit of bottle to turn around and goes, you know what? We've been doing this all season, so we better just continue to do it. It's ridiculous.
You're playing a false nine that you have never tried this season. Never tried it. So you expect them to get used to it in 6 days? How is that possible? How? Just tell me how. you have Chambers that is always crossing the ball. Crossing the ball to who? To Smith-Rowe to head the ball. How is he going to head the ball? Like one of the shortest people on the pitch. How is it? Who is going? And we're even saying, okay, maybe, I think I heard it was you that said maybe Pepe will be playing false 9. It wasn't even Pepe. We went from the surprise of, oh, Lacazette is back, Luiz is back, Tierney is back, to the shocker of false 9 and Smith-Rowe playing in false 9.
This shows me that this job is too big for him.
Yeah.
If he, I really, after this performance, I really don't know if I want to see Arsenal in the final.
So we've heard from Lee, Kelechi and Adriano there, similar feelings all round.
Yeah, exactly that. Adriano at the end there as well spoke about he doesn't even want to go through to the final. Looking at Man United's result yesterday, getting 6-2, he's worried, and I'm not surprised, especially when we're putting up formations and lineups like this. I mean, who has a clue? We'd get torn apart.
I can't say I don't want to make the final, but I can say I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah.
It's not easy being an Arsenal fan right now. Because
No,
everything's a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
You're
really
either going to
is.
cut yourself on one side or cut yourself on the other.
The thing about this false 9 thing is, I'll chat about it in a little bit more detail in a sec. I'm still going to keep asking this question: what has Cedric done wrong? What Chambers got a hat trick of, got a couple assists against West Ham?
Yeah.
And he's the next Dani Alves suddenly. Like listen. You made a great point on Ice Bath coming out on AFTV VIP. Go check it out. When our fullbacks are a failed midfielder and a failed centre back, people are going to think that's really harsh. Jack has had a good season midfield, but let's face it. Over the 4 or 5 years he's been at the club, he's not been at the required level for us. Chambers hasn't been at the required level. So yes, this season maybe there's some improvements, but then we're asking them on the back of some improvements to then go and do a job in positions that they're not comfortable in.
Yep.
Chambers clearly isn't mobile enough for that position. Xhaka isn't a fullback, end of. He's not even a defender.
Yeah.
So, and I get he's restricted to a degree in what he can do in that area, but if you're going to play a Xhaka left back, at least have the rest of the back four right.
Yeah.
At least have everyone else comfortable.
Security there.
Yeah, so at least go, all right, we've got a slight tweak there, but everything else is stable. Holding hasn't really been at it for a while now. I think he's looked okay when he's come in recently.
Yeah.
But okay, is that the marker for Arsenal players now? Mari, I've not had too much of a problem with him this season, but I think we know Gabriel's our best centre-back. Look, do you know what? I'm being a hypocrite. I've called for Mari to start. I'll be honest about that.
But I think when you put him with Holding, you've got 2 more rigid centre-backs in a sense.
Yes, I agree with that.
Where's the mobility in that pairing? Because I remember you said something about Mari and Chambers. I said something about Gabriel and Holding. Because you have one mobile centre-back there and one who is meant to read the game. Well, with Mari, I say read the game better. With Holding, I say he's meant to read the game better.
Yeah, agreed. Again, we've touched on Chambers, why Cedric's not playing, and then you made a great point about Dani Ceballos. The guy's literally just told the world that his football suits Spain more. It's almost like Arteta looked at that and went, "Oh, great! It's a good thing we're playing Spanish opposition. I better chuck you in." Like when are these players going to stop making clowns of themselves? In terms of, listen, a lot of Arsenal players say a lot of great stuff in the media. Don't get me wrong, but saying things like, I don't know if I suit this league. Why are you here then?
The week of a semi-final.
Why are we playing him?
Yeah.
I've been an advocate for Dani Ceballos. I think there's a talented player in there, but it's not happened for him at Arsenal. And then, we've talked about all that. You move on to the whole false 9 thing.
Can we quickly on that as well? You said something great yesterday when we was watching the game. Yeah, you did. You said
just about.
You said we're playing without a striker, right? So we have more in the midfield, but we're still losing the midfield battle.
Yeah, oh God, I did say that actually.
And you know what? Another point you made that made me think about the past is, listen, we're in a European semi-final playing players out of position as fullback, yeah? What did we do in the FA Cup semi-final last year? Who played left wing-back for us?
Melinas, yeah.
This is the roundabout I talk about, you know? People fail to see that come the end of every season, we're chopping and changing because we haven't adequately sorted the squad out in the summer window, which seems so far away now that we're looking at the next one, forgetting in a sense that the last one wasn't good enough, the one before that wasn't good enough. Let's remember the players in the positions yesterday. Let's remember who was risked, because with Xhaka, I don't blame him for that mistake, because I expect that from him in the middle, let alone putting him at left back. It's the club. I don't expect the club to be in yet another semi-final, whether European or FA Cup or whatever it is, playing players out of position. Going for top 4 under Unai Emery. Carl Jenkinson comes back to right back and we lose a game, I think it was against Palace. And he hadn't played a game competitively for a little while.
Yeah.
But that's 3 years in a row where towards the end of the season we're fighting for top 4, we're fighting for an FA Cup, and we're fighting for Europa League this season, where players are playing out of position every single time.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we had 2 loanees
That's
starting for us
a good point.
yesterday.
Yeah.
What big clubs have 2 loan players starting
And we relied
in
on
a
them.
semi-final?
Yeah. We rely on them.
It's crazy.
It's a really good point.
On that, quickly before we move on as well, you said about Xhaka, you expected, this is not to highlight Xhaka, but you said expect it in midfield, especially at fullback. But then do you not put the blame on the manager for, we saw it against Everton, like, you just saw what happened to him.
It goes to the manager, but then with the manager, there's different perspectives. Because at the end of the day, I can say Arteta got rid of Kolasinac, or I can say the club got rid of Kolasinac. We don't know for sure who it was. But at the end of the day, if I'm a manager, I wouldn't leave myself without a backup left back. That's not ideal.
For our most injury-prone player in the squad,
Exactly.
Tierney.
So I'd lean more towards the club made that decision
Yeah.
because of financial concerns or whatnot. Because we took out a 120 million loan in January too. There must be something going on financially.
Yeah.
So I'd put it more to them. So as much as I blame Arteta for a lot yesterday, the lack of backup stretches to Emery, to Wenger, to years gone by.
Agreed. It's very true.
It's out of his hands in a sense.
He went with the false 9, Smith Rowe. Look, I've just brought up the average positions map. I don't think it tells us too much other than look at the gap between Pepe and Saka. You know, there wasn't an obvious... And to be fair, Lacazette always drops into midfield. But what Lacazette does well is he's a bit of a battering ram sometimes. Like, pin it into me and I'll look after it and give it back. Smith Rowe, I think, was doing what was asked of him, come into midfield, and supposedly the penetration should come from Pepe and Saka.
Yeah.
But they were so wide, they were almost trying to create the chances that they should also be on the end of.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work, and as you said, we then end up losing the midfield battle anyway, despite having basically 4 central midfielders. So it was...
And we can't blame them, because they haven't done this before.
I can't blame them. We praised Arteta for using the Sheffield United game before Slavia Prague as a chance to experiment and try something, but he's used... So Lacazette gets injured against Fulham, he brings on Nketiah, and I'm thinking... But is Nketiah going to be your go-to guy?
Yeah.
I get you want to give him minutes, maybe pull up his value for the market. I don't know, and he got the equaliser. Let's put out he got the equaliser and got us a point back. I mean, this isn't a criticism of Nketiah, but why are we not using these games to practice what we're going to take into the next game, the more important
100%.
ones? And he didn't. So yeah, really disappointing.
100%.
And then we do go a goal down early.
5 minutes. I was talking to the wall.
Turkish was actually talking to the wall.
Guys,
This is why I don't do watch-alongs.
Yeah, we have to just quickly. We don't have to speak about it, but quickly. When I was downstairs, first time I've seen James lose it with this club, and for the yesterday was the first
I've
time
seen you lose it.
I've lost it as well. We all have, but that's what Arsenal do to us. But Turkish yesterday, when that first goal went in, the chair got thrown back, and he was screaming at the wall.
5 minutes. Don't even bring me back to that time,
Yeah.
because you know when you're just giving yourself up for an important game,
You just
one that means something. And you guys know me. You know, very few games in this latter half of the season have meant much.
Yeah, it's true.
This one meant something, and in the first 5 minutes, you do that.
Yeah.
Typical, coming from the area where we could all see it coming from.
Yeah.
It was like a book I've read just before I finished it. The match started, and it's just played itself out.
It's true. It's true. Let's have a look at the goal. They play out the back quite nicely, in fairness, but it's just such a weak press, and this is what has frustrated me so much with Arsenal. And I think I see a lot of teams, to be fair, doing this. If you're going to press, you've got to commit to it. Because if you don't, it's so easy to play out of. And then what you've got is a situation where they're running at your back four, and that's exactly what we had. Yeah. I'd rather Arsenal sat back 2 banks of 4 and tried to make it difficult for Villarreal than half-heartedly press, which is what we ended up doing. So, yeah.
Could I ask quickly, do you think the players, because this keeps coming up in the fan cams, do you think that they're playing for Arteta? And the reason why I say this is because when Arteta came up with this plan saying, listen, we're not going to play with a striker and do a false 9, I know as a player, when I'm sitting in that meeting and we're doing shape and we're discussing how we're going to beat the team, we're going to beat Villarreal, I would be questioning it as a player, like, I don't know what you're doing. And there should be a voice in there, a dominant voice to say, spoke to the manager and say to the manager, you know what, I don't know if this is going to work. And if that is what we need, I don't think we have that in the Arsenal team. And do you think that went against him, or do you think...
Honestly, when people take that question to me, I have to ask them, like, when have you seen these players work well with the tools they have to insinuate that they might have downed those tools?
Yeah,
do you get what I mean?
Point, yeah.
I just think they're poor. It's a poor squad. And if there was any case of down in tools, we would have saw a fight back when Ljungberg took over following Emery, because that was the rumours then. They're not playing for him, you know, they don't want to, he's too rigid. So when he left, usually you'd see a bounce back, you know, even from the energy level. We didn't see that. Arteta coming, we didn't see it again. So if it's down tools, I'd expect to see a pickup of form, but we never saw that. Yes, we got an FA Cup, but I wouldn't say that was down to...
I agree.
Bounce back,
I think it's just a poor squad, poor mentality.
Yeah, agreed. The ball comes into Parejo, and he sort of first time knocks out wide to Foyth.
That was the ball.
Foyth, who was sold by Spurs because he wasn't good enough.
Man moved like Xavi Zidane in this situation here, just glided through from here.
I know,
he just missed a couple step overs. That's all he was missing.
Literally, he gets the ball, and the thing that's so poor about this press is that's it. He's running at our back four now because Partey's he's the lone holding midfielder. Yeah. Ceballos has gone with Capu, but it's gone past him. Odegaard's not got close to Parejo, and they're running at us. And at this point, Mari is having to drop back into the line and almost try and almost shield the goal rather than put pressure. Foyth does well. He takes it forwards.
As you can see from that graphic, Foyth is actually outpacing Ceballos into the middle.
This is
there.
it.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm really glad you mentioned that because Foyth, before he knocks onto Chukwueze, you look at Ceballos thinking, are you going to do anything? Are you going to put him under? Are you going to put a foot in anything? He doesn't get there. The ball comes wide to Chukwueze. And for me, the tracking Foyth is bad enough from Ceballos. But for me, for Xhaka and Ceballos not to deal with Chukwueze in this situation is so bad.
Poor.
It's so bad because you've done it. You've double teamed. You're there. It comes back to Trigueros and...
It's poor.
And they score.
It's poor.
5 minutes.
It's poor from Ceballos. He made that run back. It's just it's lazy. It's lazy when you literally stuck a leg in.
I don't know if it is laziness because he's done the work to get back. It's just like poor application.
It was a half-hearted
It's weak.
Because if you see it in action, you actually see that his initial run is energetic. He slows down when he's about to make it to him, and essentially he doesn't put a foot in. He just
like, to me,
waits to see what happens next.
It's lazy. It's
what happened next was 1-0 to Villarreal.
Agreed. And then it's 2-0, set piece. I don't think we need to say too much about that.
No, bad defending, corner kick, you know.
What I'll say about set pieces happen. And I know, like, goals are scored from set pieces, and I look at them and I think, I'm critical of the team, but I'm also like, I don't even know necessarily where I'm saying they could have done better. It's just an organisational thing. For me, that's kind of like, even though we conceded a goal, that's kind of like the least of my worries. I'm more worried about how we played the game in general.
Yeah, I'm worried because Xhaka, Holding and Partey were involved in not watching a run, not marking the man.
I think Partey maybe is most to blame.
And all three, Xhaka and Holding initially with the man that actually headed it on. And with all three, they're actually experienced players.
Yeah, agreed. That's very true. Second half, I mean... Ceballos, Arteta, who do you blame? The ref?
I honestly, I don't think it was a yellow card. This referee was very trigger happy. Like, he'd blow his whistle, make a decision, and then check VAR or listen to them and whatnot. I don't think it was a yellow, but when you've been warned, you run that risk.
Yeah. Quick one on that. Arteta in the press conference after said he was looking to bring off Ceballos.
Too late.
Yeah, for Martin.
Too late. Ifs and buts. You shouldn't have even said it. Because it's too late. It just sounded like to me he was saying, listen, I know the fans thought he should have come off before. I did want to take him off, but I don't want to hear that.
You got it wrong in the starting 11, but the thing is, you can make mistakes, learn from them quickly. And we saw Ceballos was on a mad one yesterday. You know, he was getting into challenges. He was lucky not to get a second yellow card before that. And Arteta just said, right, that's it. The guy's lost his head. Like, get him off. He should have decided that at half time because he wasn't playing very well. He should have got on a striker and moved Smith Rowe back into midfield or something, anything. And he was too late to react and he paid for it. And whilst Danny Ceballos, like, is idiotic for what he did, the manager's got to read that situation. He's got to read it better. And I'm sorry, Arteta got it wrong. From minute 1 to the end, he got it completely wrong. Even making 2 substitutions in the 93rd minute when it's us chasing a goal. 94th,
the last minute.
When we're chasing a goal. Like, you're eating into our own time. What are you doing?
And it's Leno coming on as well. It's not even like...
Elneny and Willian.
You're bringing in someone that might just grab a goal. But
you clearly don't believe Elneny and Willian can have an impact on this game if you're bringing them on the 94th minute. So what was he playing for? He was happy with 2-1 maybe?
You only see them substitutions when you're winning.
Yeah, it's true.
It was our corner. when he brought him on. Our corner.
It was shocking. But we do get a wild card.
Lucky.
A potential
I'd say we're
wild
lucky,
card.
very lucky. Not only to get a goal back, but to win that penalty too. You know, there was a bit of a hint of potentially, not a dive, but dangling on the leg.
I think Saka looked for it.
Yeah,
which
I don't care. I don't care. Football, diving and all of that is a part of football now. We've tried to avoid it, we've tried to stamp it out, we've tried to get rid of it, but VAR assists it. And if you've got VAR assisting it, then we need to just get on board. And I'm not saying Saka dived, he was intelligent with the way he manoeuvred himself through that.
I'll be honest, if it was another player, I'd be saying they dive.
Fair enough.
But I'm in a situation where Saka's probably thinking, you know, I'm 19 years old, everything's been crap today. You know, he's the only one who's looking. Actually, I thought Pepe as well. I thought him and Pepe were looking like they were trying to make things happen. And he just thought, that's it. I'm going to run into this crowded space, and if I can find some contact, great. Yeah. Listen, I don't want that in the game. I don't want those to be given, but I've seen enough given against us that I'm going to take it. Fair play to him, and fair play to Pepe.
And I didn't see a goal coming from any other way, if I'm honest, in the game. So fair play to Saka for trying to create something.
We needed that because otherwise, without it, I think I would have conceded next week and said we won't be making the final. That goal. Well, we haven't talked about the goal yet, but Pepe stepping up, ice cold, penalty.
Did well.
It was a poor penalty, but it went in.
I was going to say, when he said ice cold, I was thinking, the penalty, he was cold.
He was cold.
He was
a
great penalty.
He's got a good record.
For Lille as well.
Yeah.
Got a good record.
And Saka's the one who gets Capu sent off as well with a lovely turn. Him and Pepe are the only ones who look like they can make things happen. And that's difficult from the wings when there's no striker to aim for and the midfield aren't doing their job. It was a disaster from start to finish, and somehow 2-1 looks a good result because of how bad it was tactically, performance from the players, everything. Because, you know, I'm not defending Arteta here at all, it's all on him. But, you know, Xhaka was struggling to make 5-yard passes. Partey was so sloppy in midfield. Odegaard, I felt, didn't really get into it. So I'm like, you know, everyone's got to take some blame for this. But the beauty of European knockout football is there's a second leg.
And before we just wrap it up, I just want to give credit to Bernd Leno because at 2-0, he made one amazing save and a couple of decent saves where essentially you look at the tie now, the result now, he kept us in it. You know? That penalty only mattered as much as it did because Leno made one great save. That kept it from being 3-0. 3-0, 3-1, 4-1 is a very different game moving into the second
thank
leg.
you so much for saying that because I'd forgot and it had been on my mind yesterday. We sat here on the last full time show and talked about his errors, but I thought he was really good. Yes, he dealt with everything he had to. It was just a case of the people in front of him not doing his job. But big up Leno, that was a good response.
You have to, and also on top of that, when we conceded so early, I thought he was going to lose his head. I looked, they panned it to him and I thought this is it. This is going to be a very high scoring game for Villarreal. But like you said, he kept us in it, and we have another lifeline next week Thursday. Let's just hope, you know, we take it.
Yeah. People, that's been the full time for the Villarreal 2-1 loss. Have we still got a chance next week, lads?
Yeah, of course we do.
Are we confident?
For every Slavia Prague home game, there's a Slavia Prague away. That's what this Arsenal team is right now.
That's as confident as I think we can get right now.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Yeah, Cesc is not going to raise the bar. So that's it, people. We've still got a chance. We didn't do the job in the first leg. Let's hope we get it done in the second. This has been full time. Thank you to James and Cecil as always. Make sure you leave your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Love and peace, people. We're out.